Hey, it's Primal Cam, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to control respawning in your Roblox games. It's going to be very simple, very short scripts, and it's going to be quick to implement in any of your games. So this will be useful for games where you have lives based off of like 3 lives, and they only have a certain amount of lives that they can actually respawn. So they don't auto respawn based off of how Roblox has it set up. I'm going to show you how to bypass that and actually control whether the player can respawn or not. So over here we have a kill brick that we're going to use to test, and as you can see, if we hit the kill brick, we're just going to auto respawn, and that is based off of the fact that Roblox has a property that they have default set to true to make sure that players that die, whether they fall off the map or not, auto respawn at the nearest spawn location or wherever the spawn location that you may have defined. So let's go ahead and hop into it and see exactly how we can set this up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is hop into replicated storage here, and you want to go ahead and create a remote event. I named it respawn, and that's pretty much what you're going to be using to communicate from the client to the server. So anytime a player clicks this button right here, we're going to be firing this remote event over to the server. So I went ahead and created an empty server script right here. Go ahead and create a script right here under server script service. And all we're going to do is we're going to define the players within our game. We want to get access to game get service players, super important. And then we want to get access to our respawn remote events. So game dot replicated storage, wait for child, respawn. Now we have access to that remote event that we just created. And then next we're going to listen for when players actually join our game, so we can control whether they are able to actually respawn or not. So player added, games.players.player added, simply just listening for when a player joins the game. Function passing in the player, and then we're going to pass in player.character added, and then we're going to connect that to a function here. After that's created. Now this is super important. We want to make sure that the player actually loads in their character first before we define this property that I'm about to show you. Otherwise, the player won't actually be able to join in your game. So wait for the player to actually load their character in first. Then we're going to access the players within our game, and we're going to set all their character auto load property values to false. So this is a very unique property that Roblox has that is default set to true to auto respawn players. But when you set it to false right here, when they load in their character, they can't just auto respawn unless activated some other way. So let's go ahead and listen for a remote event. Let's go ahead and set up respawn, and we're going to set up on server event. So we're listening for the server event fired from the client, and we're going to connect that to a function passing in the player right here, because we want to load that specific, we want to respawn that specific character. As you can see right here, Roblox has a function right here called LoadCharacter that we're going to be utilizing. So we're going to do player LoadCharacter, and this will allow us to control the respawn right here. So this lets us know on the server side that the player actually wants to respawn and get respawned back. So let's go back to that button right here. We have a text button that we created in Starter GUI that I showed you earlier, and then you want to go ahead and create a local script within that inside that text button right there. So let's get access to that respawn remote event. We're going to go game.replicated storage, and we're going to wait for child and respawn right here. So now we have access to the remote event. After that, we want to get access to the button. So we do game local button, creating a variable so we can actually utilize it. Script.parent right here, and then we're going to access the button, and we're listening for activated, listening for when it's activated. And we want to get access to the player that actually activated that button. So pass a function into the connection of that event and get the player from that. And all we're doing is accessing the respawn remote event, and we're hitting the server with a fire server event on that remote event that we created. So we have the remote event right here, and we're firing it to the server. And then we're just going to pass in the player that actually fired it. So back up here, this is where it catches that remote event that we just sent to the server right here. So we listen for it with on server event, connecting that to a function with that retrieves the player value that we passed into it. And then we grab the player, and then we load character, and loading character actually respawns the character. So if we hop into the game right here, check this out. So if I jump on this kill brick again, notice something. Notice that we are not auto respawning. So that is a very important distinction. We are not respawning at all unless you click respawn. So that is exactly how to control respawns within your game. So this is very useful for games where you have like 3 or 5 lives, kind of like that Zelda style of a game system where you have hearts, and you want to make sure that the player can only respawn via a controlled server script, or whether they control it themselves based off of a revive system and a heart system. So I hope this was useful to you. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.